Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. Deku and his crew have done quite a lot of things. After Skypiea and the events with Enel, Bako needs a doctor. He has some very bad wounds. And Deku and his crew, they were trying to head to the nearest island. There is Alabasta. However, Alabasta, that's a bit spotty. I mean, they don't really know if there's a doctor that can handle Bakugo's injuries. They could try and search for one and find one, but Drum is a better option. It is a few days out, but they've been trying to do what they can to take care of Bakugo. But Bakugo has been a stubborn bastard. And that's something else. Now, they talked to Jiro and discovered that she was a Marine. However, she decided to abandon her post and run away. And that has put her, well, let's just say in the Marines' bad side, as a deserter. Now, while it was happening, Deku, his ship was attacked. He had to defend it, and then he went out to G2 using Momo's mirror abilities. And he made an announcement to his crew. He is back out there sailing the seas. And that made waves. Mina heard about this whenever she was aboard a ship. Ochako and Toru heard about this while they were sailing around on the sea. And there actually was Todoroki. He heard the news, along with Kirishima. And Kirishima has decided to finally make a move. He is an Impel Down, and currently he is reshaping the prison and changing around a few things. Because he's not trapped in here with the guards. They're trapped in here with him. Now, with that all being said, a few things have been happening. While Impel Down has lost contact with everybody inside, or everybody on the outside, there actually is Deku and his crew, who they finally do go to Drum Island and sail in. Now, on the approach, they realized that it was getting very, very cold. And Deku, yeah. He was trying to go over a few things about the island with Asui and Jiro. They're not really too sure how things are right now, but here's the main problem. Drum Island is a place covered in snow, and it's known for their medical knowledge, but they're not really too sure if they'll get a doctor there. I mean, it'll take a minute to probably find one, and they don't really have that time right now. Bakugo's not really doing so hot. His injuries, they're bad, and he's been stubborn. He's been up on his feet a lot and keeping them open. He's lost a lot of blood, and that does mean quite a bit. Bakugo might be stubborn, but right now he's slowed down, and he might have actually gotten an infection. Now, currently Bakugo, he is somewhat stuck in his bunk, and he actually has tried to get out of bed and move today. And right now we do actually have our Deku and his crew, they do get a pull into port. Now, the moment they do get a pull into port, a ton of things start to happen. And Bakugo currently is going to run down the hallway and run up on the deck. As right now Deku is going to stand there with his hands up directly on the dock. As Bakugo is going to run over and bring down his hand. I'm going to pull his sword as Deku's going to turn. Him bring up his hand and telling Bakugo not to. And currently Bakugo is going to watch on. Right now, him, somewhat panting heavily, and there actually is Momo, who just trying to tell him, turning to him that he needs to lay back down, since being out here won't help him. I'm fine. I'll be okay. No, you won't, you stubborn bastard. I'm okay. I'm fine. Now, the people do try to talk about it. Deku and his crew are pirates. They don't want him here on the island. They've already had enough problems. And that has been quite a lot. And currently there actually is Deku, who could just bring up his other hand. Him going to flip a coin up into the air. The person standing there going to watch as it'll fly towards them. A little bit more on guard as the coin is smash onto the deck and land. And currently, they do to watch on, as they look down to see a gold coin. and Deku just have his hands up, expressing about how him and his crew don't mean any harm. Him turning back, expressing to all of them, put down their weapons and come down, with their hands up. These people here are afraid, and that fear isn't what they need. Now, Momo's gonna walk down the ramp, along with Asui and Jiro, and Bakugo, he does begrudgingly set down his blades and walk down, as all of them have their hands up, and currently Deku doesn't introduce himself. As everyone, they're still a bit more unnerved. Deku is a pirate. He's someone who's made a reputation, and that certainly is something else. Though the fact that he's come here without the whole crew does somewhat alarm them. They heard that he had a bunch of people at his command, and this is only a handful. So, where's everyone else? And Deku just tried to explain. He's lost contact with those members of his crew, and right now he does want to ask them if they have a doctor on the island, if they have anybody here in town who can help them. And out of the man, he does want to look at Deku. Deku, he's trying his best to not be a threat, though his reputation makes it hard. He could kill all of them within an instant. And the man is going to try and let up. Him loosening his shoulders a bit, and trying to at least explain. The only doctor they really have left on the island is in Drum Castle. Then I'm going to turn and point into the distance. It's up there on a high mountain. And there actually is Dr. Kureha. She lives there in the castle with her granddaughter. And they have had a patient go there recently. It was a few months back. However, the storm wasn't as bad. Though, it's gonna get worse. A blizzard has been blowing through the island for a couple of days now. And getting there might be difficult. They need the proper equipment and gear. However, they could possibly stay here until the storm is going to pass and then head to the island. Or head to the castle. It won't be that easy. The trek there, it's going to be full of hazards. And that does take quite a bit. Now, Deku's going to try and ask for a shop on the island. And the man is trying to tell Deku where it might be. However, everyone, they still are a bit more alarmed. And Deku goes on turn and tell his crew that he wants them all to stay on the ship. However, Jiro is coming with him. Why me? Simple. They don't know who you are. Also, you're not a member of my crew. This woman here was a stowaway on my ship. If possible, hospitality would be nice. However, she might be staying here. Any openings? An inn, maybe? Now, everyone is going to look at Jiro. And everyone, they're kind of confused as to why a girl would stow away on a pirate ship. And Deku just tried to ask, all of them, for exactly where that shop might be again. Now, Deku, he is taken to a place, and right now, everyone's still a bit more on edge. But Deku doesn't try to make threats. He doesn't try to be threatening. And that is quite a bit. And right now Deku, he does get to walk into a store as the shopkeeper. They're actually quite happy to have some business again. Now, they try and tell Deku about a few things, since they heard he's looking for a doctor for one of his crewmates. And that certainly is something else. Now, Deku, he is somewhat suggested heavily by the person to take climbing gear, since they might need it for the journey. But Deku is talking about how he just wants some heavier clothes and stuff to keep warm. He doesn't want anchors, he doesn't want rope, he doesn't want lines or tethers, he just wants something to stay warm. And that has been quite a lot. The person is quite alarmed. However, they're not going to say anything. Deku's giving them some pretty good business. And Deku, whenever it is time to pay, he does give them a hefty amount of cash. Now, the person, they're quite happy. And Deku, he does try to ask for the best possible route up there to the castle. But the person is trying to explain. The doctor does come down every now and again to try and check for patients. Try and check to see if anyone needs medical expertise. things up there are a bit odd and strange. And that has been quite a bit. Though, climbing his way up there is not a good idea. Her coming down is the better option. When the blizzard is at a pass, that's when they should go. But Deku, he doesn't listen. Him and Jiro leaving with the clothes. And they're actually back on the ship a few minutes later. Where Deku, he currently does put on a heavier jacket and talk to Bakugo. Hamlet's trying to tell his crew about a few more things. So far, it hasn't happened, but he's noticing that some of the water is already starting to freeze. If they do need to, they can break it apart and sail out of here after Bakugo is treated. Though, he thinks that they'll be here for a few days. And if that is the case, then it's going to be a bit of a problem. He wants them all to know. Staying here on the ship is an idea. But if things do get a little harsh, go to the town and try and find a place to stay. I mean, the clothes will only do so much. And that's been quite a bit. As right now, Deku, here's a turn to Bakugo. And Bakugo does something to stand. And right now, Deku, here's a notice that Bakugo has lost a lot more strength. Since Bakugo, he does somewhat seem to struggle a bit getting to his feet. Now, right now there actually is Momo, who does go to sit there in a jacket, trying to talk about how maybe Bakugo should wait for the doctor to come down to them. And right now Deku's a turn. Bakugo turning to see Momo, as there actually is Lillian, who currently is in her cat form, laying in the hood of Momo's jacket, since it actually is pretty warm. Now, Deku said talk about it. He doesn't know exactly how long the doctor might be up there, and going to them is the better option. Climbing the mountain certainly is something else, though he's fairly certain that Bakugo and him can handle it. Now, Bakugo will go to someone make a remark, talking about how he'll get to the top of the mountain before Deku can, and about how he doesn't need his shitty help. Now, Deku hears a turn to see Bakugo. Someone staring at him with a bit of a smirk. However, he can tell that Bakugo is trying to put on a bit more of a brave face. He's messed up his injuries more by trying to train. The guy doesn't listen, and that means quite a lot. So, he'll put himself through hell and not listen. Though the consequences of that are interesting. Now, Deku and Bakugo do to leave the boat, and there actually is currently Jiro who does somewhat sit there. As Asui, she currently is brewing some tea to drink. Now, Jiro does have a lot going through her mind. Drum Island. I mean, she's heard of this place before, but actually being here, it's a beautiful place, but so covered in snow, and they arrived during a blizzard. It somewhat does worry her. If they'll be okay, if things will turn out well, I mean, there's not really a lot to say here. Now, Deku and Bakugo, they do to head out. Them walking through town and going to walk into the forest. Now, they do start their journey on their way to the castle. Now, Deku and his crew, they left Bighorn Town, and they took some advice from the people who they talked to. They were told quite a few things about the giant rabbits and about the hiking bears, and that was a bit surprising. Apparently, if the lines up to the castle are out, they might have to climb, and that is somewhat worrisome. If the blizzard does blow hard enough, they might not be able to take the lines up to the castle. So, they gotta worry about that. If those aren't working, they'll have to climb up the mountain. And that's quite a bit of ways up. Now, Deku, he actually is a bit more surprised by how things are here. And currently him and Bakugo are walking through the snow. And Bakugo, he actually is walking behind Deku. Him's still a bit more annoyed, since he thought that his wounds weren't that bad. And Deku's a turn, talking about how Bakugo almost gets stabbed in his crotch, since His wound isn't that bad. He should probably be a lot more lucky the guy didn't hit a little bit more below the belt. I told you I'm fine. Besides, I won. You won. Yeah. But how far in did the thing go, Bakugo? What? How far in did the spear go? I don't know. Yeah, that's bad. Besides, you're getting sicker. You're slowing down. You've actually gotten bed rest, which is fucking surprising. Fuck you. See, maybe you won't die of an infection. I'm not gonna die of an infection, you idiot. But we don't know that for sure yet. They're going to turn back, talking about it. They still got some time. The blizzard was supposed to get worse, right? Tonight? I don't know. But listen, they're going to turn. As right now a giant bear is walking towards them with a cane. And Deku, he isn't going to walk by the man. Him turning his head and going to bow. And Walker's a turn staring at Deku. Him going to bow himself, since if they are going to try and avoid a fight, it's kind of best. And Deku's a turn back, asking Baka about exactly what that was. Shut up. Huh. So you do know that you can't fight. It's gotta be really bad then. I told you to shut up. No, I don't think I'm gonna. Listen, Bakugo. You really gotta stop. This whole bravado thing, it might work on some people, but it doesn't work on me. The two continue to walk, and Bakugo's hear about it from Deku. Bakugo, yeah. Whenever they first met, he had ego. He had heart. He definitely was the type of guy who if you gave shit to, he'd probably blow your head off. But Bakugo has gotten better. He's gotten actual power and knows how to use it now. But even then, he still acts like a bit of a hotshot. He needs to be a team player. He's making that quite clear. Now, Deku and Bakugo do eventually get to the station a few hours later. And right now the two, they do go to find the station. It's out. It's too cold, and the generators are not on. Which means that these lines, yeah, they're not in service. So, now they have a bit of a journey ahead of them. And Deku's a turn to Bakugo. Ask him if he's really up to climbing today. And Bakugo's a turn, talking about how he'll beat Deku on the way up. And Deku's a turn to Bakugo. Him telling him about how that's not really going to happen. Now, we do actually have Deku, who does talk about how he's going to go talk to the doctor. He'll go out there and make them aware that Bakugo's on his way. He'll see him at the top. Fine. Go ahead. Now, Deku, he currently does go to turn. Him looking up, as he does get someone look up a bit more. As he's trying to think about how the wind might affect all of this. And currently Deku's going to fly up through the air in a beam of light. And there currently is Dr. Kureha, who, she is doing a few things in the castle. And currently, she does get at least turn asking exactly if her assistant can hand her something. Right now the girl gonna walk over and hand over a vial, asking her grandmother if that was helpful. Very much so, dear. Listen, it's been a bit busy and there's been a few things happening, but so far whenever the blizzard is clear up, we might need to go out. Find people who might need our help. I understand. Though, are you sure it's a good idea to do that? I'm sure. Listen, we're some of the only doctors left on the island. There's not many left, and those who practice might be killed. You know how the law is here. I understand, but what if we just join them? No. I don't think that's a good idea. What do you mean? If we join them, then things aren't good. But if we stay independent, we're able to help people in our own way. That's how we do things. Okay, fine, fine. But are you sure? Now, Kureha does get a turn, expressing to Kendo. She's very sure. That's how things are. Now, she's gonna go check on their latest patient and see how she's doing. If the girl is up to it, then she might be able to get onto her feet and do some physical therapy. Though, that is one of their main concerns. The girl was quite beat up whenever she came in a few months back. And now, she's not only fully conscious, but she's actually making some good time on recovery. I understand. Currently, there being a knocking on the door, and Kendo's a turn. Are a bit surprised. If they didn't hear about the station being on, I mean, they didn't hear the sound outside or anything. I mean, that shit squeaks loud with the blizzard, but not even a peep from it? A sound, a stray piece of noise that would travel? It's a bit odd. And currently the pounding does get somewhat a bit louder. And Kendo does a walk over to the door. As Deku does stand there, him and a jacket bring up his hand, pulling off the top of it and asking if there's a doctor here. Hmm? Uh, yes, there is. Is there emergency? Yeah, listen. My friend's back down at the station. He's injured, and he needs help. Like, a lot of it. How did you get up here? If he's back at the station, why don't you just bring him? Her gonna turn her head and see that the station isn't even there. I mean, the cart, the carrier thing, it's not there. The system is over there across the line. And she's just stare at Deku. And currently Deku's just stand there. As he's going to talk about it. It's a lot to explain. But he's going to go get his friend, and hopefully they can help him out. Now, currently Kendo just going to nod. And she's going to watch Deku turn back and walk over to the edge. Her a bit more surprised watching is Deku does a leap down. Now, while Deku does a fall down, there actually is Bakugo. Bakugo, he was climbing up. And there actually is where he does see Deku falling towards him. And that seems insane. The guy fell from a pretty high height. And currently Bakugo is bringing his hand up, digging his hand into the ice. Him trying to climb up with his hockey fingers, or his armored fingers, as he does continue to go up. Him trying to continue climbing. However, currently Bakugo, he doesn't feel the wind shift, as right now his feet are thrown out from beneath him, and Bakugo doesn't hold on. Him putting all his strength into his hands. And right now he does continue to climb up. And there actually is Deku. Deku, when he does it a fall down past Bakugo, he does shoot himself back up steadily a bit. Right now Deku, being carried with momentum, I'm going to stop. Him throwing out his hand and digging it into the wall. As there actually is someone going to swing a bit and try and get steady. Him holding on, as a turn yelling to Bakugo. And Bakugo can barely hear Deku. The wind screaming and howling in his ear. As Rene's to look up and see Deku. As Bakugo, his vision does get a bit fuzzy. And now Bakugo, he just stare up. Him feeling his lips go numb. However, everything feels warm. And now Bakugo, he actually is going to have his hands unarmored, as he does to fall backwards. And Deku's a turn to see that. We're now Bakugo going to fall backwards off of the mountain. And Deku's a turn, him leaping down below and trying to grab Bakugo, as Deku's going to dive. Now, Deku's able to grab Bakugo by his leg, and he actually is trying to throw him up into the air above him. Him going to actually turn, swinging his hand into the wall, smashing it into it, as you know Deku, he's landed the mountain with a lot of force. Him throwing up his hand, and actually going to catch Bakugo by his hood. Right now Bakugo going to sort of lay there, a bit limp. And Deku, he's going to pull him up and into the wall. Him is going to check his pulse to find that Bakugo's pulse is weak. His lips are blue, and his fever is high. His breathing got weaker. And Deku, he currently has to sit there. Him holding on to Bakugo, and just going to bring up his hand. Him putting Bakugo a bit up higher, as he started to climb the mountain with one hand. And right now, Deku, he has a lot going through his mind. However, there actually is the fact that Deku, he is stuck here on a mountainside, climbing up with a guy in his arm. Bakugo, he needs some serious medical help. Now, Kaneda should get a few things prepared. However, there actually is the fact that Deku, whenever he does come walking into the room, they do to see him. Deku, he lost his jacket, and he doesn't want to sit there with Bakugo. Him walking to the door, as shown on Deku, his skin is red, and he's covered in frostbite. Well, not frostbite. He's covered in snow. And it does somewhat alarm her. Her is trying to tell Deku about what he needs to do carefully, since his body, it might go numb. Now, currently Bakugo is laid there in a bed, as Deku is going to talk to the doctor. Him a bit more surprised since the girl so young is a doctor. And she's trying to talk about how her grandma's the doctor. She was just taught how to do a few things. And that's the main concern. Now, currently Deku, he is at least going to turn his head, as Kureha and her patient, they do walk past. And currently Deku's going to turn up and look at a girl. His eyes are going to widen, as he doesn't want to feel hatred flare up. Now, there actually is Toga, who currently is going to walk into the room. Right now, her missing an arm, and with a bandage covering a side of her face. As the girl, she is limping. And Deku, when he does turn and see her, Toga is going to look up. Her staring at Deku a bit confused. And Deku does watch on. The girl doesn't recognize him, but he knows her. And that tells him quite a bit. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.